That's right, bitches, it finally happened! Five Nights at Freddy's is now officially in Dead by Daylight. It's PTB. But still, we made it, motherfuckers! What's up, big bippies? Child murderer Bippin here. It's for the bit. Feds, please don't arrest me, it's a bit. The day has finally come. Dead by Daylight's most requested chapter has finally seen the light of day. And boy, has it been a long time coming. Writing this script, I don't even know where to start, really. Five Nights at Freddy's has been a cultural zeitgeist since the 2010s, especially for people my age, as I was smack dab in the age demographic for enjoying it when it first came out. It practically invented the term mascot horror, and was probably the very first horror game I've ever played. It's strange, it's kind of the perfect franchise for all ages in a weird way. It's got fun, colorful robot mascots to appeal to the younger audience, and an actually horribly dark and twisted story that sure is violent if you read into it for the older folks. Whatever way you look at it, I personally loved the series, and would spend hours watching game theory videos on the lore to catch up on it. Enough about me though, let's talk about the main reason everyone is here. Springtrap. Springtrap is one of the coolest horror game villains to come around, being the rotting corpse of child serial killer William Afton, possessing and controlling the old withered and rotting suit that he once used to lure children to their death. He first appeared in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and has quickly become an icon for the entire series, as he is practically the main villain and has such a cool design. I am super stoked to have him in the game, but, I have to come clean about something. I am deathly afraid of animatronics. After seeing what I have seen in the backstage of a Freddy's establishment, I have developed a crippling fear of these things. My therapist told me exposure therapy would help me get over this fear, so I'm proud to introduce to you my new animatronic friend, Bippin. I can't really show you him, but let me power him on and he can say hi.
Greetings, Bippies and gentlemen. I am Bippin.
Jesus, that thing is terrifying. But that's why I have him. So anyways, this is Springtrap, or the animatronic in Dead by Daylight. Before I start this video, I am obligated to say that this is all taken from the PTB, so slight balancing alterations and changes may come in the future. Don't hold it against me. Anywho, let's start by covering Springtrap's power. Fazbear's Fright. Fazbear's Fright comes in two parts, Springtrap's axe throw and the security systems. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Axe Trap is now canon, and Roblox did it first. The first part of his power is a unique projectile coming in the form of a fire axe that Springtrap can toss at survivors. Funny that Spring Boy shares a similar feature to another bunny-related killer. Holding the power button will prime your axe throw, and clicking the basic attack button will throw it straight in front of you. It does travel in a bit of an arc, as it is quite heavy. If you manage to successfully lob the axe at a survivor, you will damage them for a health state. If they are healthy when you throw the axe at them, it will be embedded in them, leaving them vulnerable to a unique special interaction. On top of this, survivors embedded with Springtrap's axe will have the broken status effect, and must remove the axe before being healed. As for that little special interaction, if you approach a survivor stuck with the axe and manage to get within grabbing range of them, you can click your basic attack button to enter a brief animation where you pull the axe from them and give them a big old jump scare, raw, before automatically picking them up. Missing a survivor or just throwing the axe at an object will cause the axe to remain there until picked up. However, if the axe isn't in a survivor, it creates a small area of effect around it that reveals survivors with killer instinct that enter this area. If the axe is lodged in the environment or a survivor, Springtrap can recall the axe after a short period using his secondary ability button. Last thing to note for the axe throw is that Springtrap actually moves slightly faster when not holding his axe. I guess it's because it's weighing his pockets down, man. He's got to keep that thing somewhere. The next part of Springtrap's power is the security systems. Whenever you play as or against Springtrap, 7 of these security doors equipped with cameras will spawn around the map. Both Springtrap and the survivors can interact with these security systems accordingly. For survivors, interacting with a security door will give them access to a camera view. just like the real FNAF, allowing survivors to cycle through every other camera on the map. Doing so, they can look for Springtrap on these cameras, and if they manage to find and look at him for a wee bit, Springtrap's aura will be revealed to all survivors for a short duration. The other feature of these gives the survivors the ability to teleport to the security door they are currently viewing, acting as a bit of a fast travel. However, just as survivors can utilize these features, so can Springtrap. Before I talk about how Springtrap uses these, let me first note that when survivors use these security systems, they will deplete in battery over time and force them to wait until the system reboots. Kinda like in FNAF 3. Now for Springtrap. Springtrap can also freely use these security doors to teleport around the map as well, but for him, battery power isn't an issue whatsoever. He can use these both if they are powered or rebooting. On top of this, he doesn't really have a cooldown for using these, so you can really get your worth out of it. Interacting with these doors causes you to enter an almost dredge or xenomorph-like fast travel system, which looks to be a cool limbo area decorated in the typical FNAF style. You can now look around the map at the other security doors and use your secondary ability button to select one, causing you to take a short stroll through an office area before coming out on the other side. The really cool part about this is if you just so happen to enter this office area while another survivor is fast traveling through here, you'll do a cool jump scare interaction where you sneak up behind them, grab them, and exit the security room with them on your shoulder. On top of this, when Springtrap exits a security door, he is given a pretty hefty amount of the undetectable status effect, kinda like when Demogorgon exits its portals. Last thing to note here is he can also use his axe throw to disable cameras by throwing it at said camera.
It seems as
Jesus.
though us machines stay winning.
Sorry, yeah. We kinda already did the whole robot uprising theme way back in the Singularity video. Keep up, Bitbot. As for strategy, I would suggest using your security doors whenever you have downtime, or even at the start of the game. The stealth they give you is pretty great, and they seem to have no cooldown, so you can kinda just abuse these things. On top of this, it gives you the opportunity for some early jump scares in the security office, leading to quicker hooks. If you hear the noise to indicate that you are being revealed by one of the cameras, try and enter the security door and teleport as quickly as possible to potentially catch the survivor on the cameras with their pants down, as they may want to teleport after trying to reveal you. As for the axe, it's hard to give you a strategy for it here since it's practically just how you would use any other ranged attack. Try catching survivors in animations to ensure a hit, and if you aren't in the open, recall your axe to try and use it to down people if you can't ensure the cool grab animation. That's practically it for Springtrap's power, but... Oh. Sorry guys, that's my floor actually. Yeah, that's right. The add-on combo floor. This add-on combo I am dubbing Spring Crack, like Springtrap, but on crack. This combines the Celebrate poster add-on with the Foxy's Hook add-on, essentially giving you these two effects. If you land an axe throw on a survivor, both you and that survivor gain 20% haste and 20% vault speed, ending if the axe is removed or if they are farther than 32 meters from you. Foxy's Hook makes it so that if you miss the axe throw, the little area of effect it gives off gives either you or the survivor 10% haste when running through it for 6 seconds. The goal here is to make Springtrap Sonic's older, creepier uncle, giving you the option of whether to hit the survivor and engage super speed, or throw the axe around loops to give you super speed. And surprisingly enough, that's Springtrap's power. To be honest, it sounded a lot more complicated when watching the live stream revealing all this stuff, but all it boils down to is a short to mid-range axe throw and a map traversal power with the security doors. To be completely honest, from what I've played so far, it's pretty damn fun. I love how simplistic it is, and how some crazy cool interactions and animations are associated with it. But now I want to address the elephant in the room. Is giving Springtrap a fire axe kinda lame? Don't get me wrong, I'm loving what I'm seeing and playing right now, but every single iteration I've seen of him in fan-made stuff and even in Roblox has him throw an axe. I get it, it kinda makes sense because the whole building burns and, fire axe would generally be the thing that he grabs, but it also kinda feels a little bit uninspired. Besides that, I am having a blast with him.
Are you having a blast with me?
Sure, Bitbot, sure. After being here and reviewing this character with you for a bit, I'm starting to ease up around animatronics. I think this might actually be helping. Let's move on to Springtrap's perks, shall we? Springtrap comes with his 3 unique perks: Help Wanted, Phantom Fear, and Haywire. Let's start with Help Wanted. Help Wanted is another generator compromise perk, similar to machine learning from the Singularity. Kicking a generator compromises that generator. When a compromised generator is completed, for the next minute you are given a 25% faster cooldown on successful basic attacks. This perk kicks some ass actually, and seems like it can be quite good. 25% is actually quite a bit for attack cooldowns, and pairing this with Save the Best for Last could give you even quicker swings. Next, there's Phantom Fear. Phantom Fear causes a survivor that looks at you while in your terror radius to scream and reveal their aura for 2 seconds. This then goes on cooldown for a whole minute. This perk is actually quite fantastic, and is really helpful when you're looking for people. Just giving you more information or even a jumping point to start chasing somebody is extremely useful. Lastly, there's Haywire. Haywire makes it so that when all of the generators are completed, survivors who let go of an exit gate switch with at least 50% of its progression will cause that exit gate switch to start regressing at 50% of the gate opening speed. This is shown to survivors by the lights on the exit gate switch blinking. This one is kinda cool and really unique, but doesn't seem super useful. It could be really cool for some endgame builds, predominantly using it paired with Remember Me could be extremely mean, but besides that, it's just kinda unique and cool. And those were Springtrap's perks. Quite a useful and cool set. You could tell they really tried to take a unique approach to these few to make them stand out.
Yes, they sure did. I think I am starting to like this Springtrap fellow.
Yeah, well, technically you shouldn't. I mean, he's a bad man and therefore a bad influence on you. I don't want an animatronic affiliated with me going out and killing children, alright? Tell me you understand.
Oh, I understand alright.
Okay, I'm not going to question that tone, but let's move swiftly on to...
It's lore time, baby.
Okay, well, I kind of do that with a little more enthusiasm, but you know what, you're getting there. Lore fact number 1. I'm gonna speedrun Springtrap's lore real quick. You ready? William Afton is a child-murdering serial killer in the 80s who had partnered with his good friend Henry to open and own the franchise of Freddy Fazbear's. Nobody really knows why he murders kids, but it is hinted at that his family life was quite broken as both his youngest son and daughter have both been killed by animatronics, one of which he personally created. His wife is yet to be seen, but again is hinted to have divorced him, and so now he is left with his eldest son Michael that he hates because he was responsible for the death of his youngest son in the bite of '83. Essentially, William used his Golden Spring bodysuit to lure children to rooms off camera and murder them, stuffing them into suits which cause them to possess the suits and attack us whenever we play the games. He is responsible for killing several kids, but only after the main 5 do we see him return to the now dilapidated restaurant to try and dismantle the robots, in the process unknowingly releasing their spirits from the suits. Once done, the spirits corner him, and in a panic he jumps into the old spring bodysuit in a power play that ends with the spring locks clamping shut due to the age, wear and tear, and the clearly damp room that they were kept in. If you aren't aware of what spring locks are, they are a mechanism built for the older hybrid suits that allow for the animatronic bits to be held back to allow a performer to use the suit as an actual suit, doubling as an actual animatronic when the performer decides to take it off. Essentially, this spring lock failure means that while William was in the suit, all of the animatronic endoskeleton bits, aka an entire metal robot frame, sprung back into position while he remained inside, essentially fusing his body with the animatronic and causing him to bleed out as the spirits passed on. 30 years pass and we see the opening of a horror attraction called Fazbear's Fright, essentially an interactive haunted house type attraction that uses the old rumors and stories of the tragedies that took place at Freddy's. Also the place he played the third game in. While scavenging for old stuff they could use for the attraction, Fazbear's Fright unearthed the decaying corpse of William in his spring bodysuit, somehow not realizing that he was still alive and placing him in the attraction where he now hunts you while you play. By the end of the game you end up burning the place down with him inside, yet he still lives on and eventually becomes this horrid monstrosity. Then burns again, has his consciousness digitally transferred or something maybe, and is heavily implied to be burning in hell for all of eternity, tormented by all the spirits and creations from his past. You got all that? Want me to repeat it? Okay, so William Afton is a child murdering lore fact number 2. One of Springtrap's legendary skins, the Yellow Rabbit, is taken directly from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Matthew Lillard's likeness was used for this skin, as well as his lovely voice for the voice lines in game. It is awesome, and also hilarious because even though he's reprising his role as William Afton, you're basically playing as Shaggy.
You're in trouble.
Lore fact number 3. One of Springtrap's other legendary skins is actually confirmed to be Glitchtrap from the FNAF Help Wanted VR game. This is a pretty cool inclusion, as Help Wanted is widely regarded as one of, if not the best FNAF game. In it, you play as a beta tester for this new horror FNAF-themed and branded VR game, playing through mini-games and recreations of certain Five Nights at Freddy's games in a VR setting. All the while, this creepy VR entity is watching you. Basically, Glitchtrap is presumably the consciousness of William Afton transferred into a digital world, acting as a glitch that attaches itself to the wearer of the VR headset and attempts to swap consciousnesses with you, the player, to further its goal in releasing itself from its digital prison. Neat and all, but you can't call this killer the animatronic when this skin turns him, at least visually, into just a man with a stitched suit. Lore fact number 4. The Toxic and Clown Springtrap skins coming into the game with his release are actually taken from the Five Nights at Freddy's AR game, Special Delivery. This was actually a different style of phone game, almost similar to Pokemon Go in a way. Animatronics would be delivered to your house, and you would have to complete these AR minigames where you would shock and detain them in order to collect parts and such. Then you could outfit them with certain, and sometimes questionable, skins. I still think Clown Springtrap is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Lore fact number 5. You know, for like the missing kids, for the 5 missing kids. There are some fun little references all throughout this chapter, but I want to focus on the perk names for now. Help Wanted is referring to both the name of the VR game I mentioned prior, as well as the opening shots of each game usually being a Help Wanted ad in the newspaper for the security guard gig you play through in each respective game. Phantom Fear is a reference to Five Nights at Freddy's 3, where Springtrap was introduced, as the only other threat besides him are the Phantom Animatronics, essentially phantom versions of the big names already established that won't kill you if they jump scare you, but instead make you hallucinate and hyperventilate, causing Springtrap to grow nearer and nearer. Lore fact number 6. Springtrap's power, Fazbear's Fright, is a reference to the name of the building you are playing in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, being Fazbear's Fright. You know, it would have been cool and more fitting to see that map in Dead by Daylight, but I am not biting the hand that feeds me. Lore fact number 7. PJ Haywood voices William/Springtrap in the games, and I'm happy to say that he also voices Springtrap in Dead by Daylight. You could hear it in both the incredible amount of voice lines, but also in the scream he does many times. Lore fact number 8. Was that the lore fact of 87? Springtrap has 2 different animations for selecting him on the Killer Select menu, both for his default outfit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time a killer has ever had 2 different intro animations for their default skin. On top of this, both reference Five Nights at Freddy's 3 in some way. The walk across the screen could reference how he walks across the glass in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, as well as the wall grab and peek around the corner. Lore fact number 9. The Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria map is chock full of fun references and cool Easter eggs. Obviously, there are the 3 main animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, on the main stage. Pirates Cove doesn't have a Foxy, unfortunately, but does have a Foxy plush. The sign out front and look of the building is mainly themed around the look from the movie. You can tell by the sign and the archway at the entrance. There are also organs on a gift box on the main stage. The parts and service room has some creepy looking endos and heads and such. And the place even has a ball pit which could reference the Fazbear Fright story Into the Pit. There are probably even more references, but I don't want to bore you to death with them all. That and I didn't really see any more that I recognized. Lore fact number 10. If you power the main generator in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica will perform for you. Lore fact number 11. Springtrap says some iconic lines from the games, including his trademark phrase, "I always come back." Lore fact number 12. In the parts and service room, sometimes an endoskeleton can pop out and jump scare you. And that's that. It is so surreal to me that this character is finally in the game, and it's safe to say that my wallet will be hurting heavily on the live release of this chapter. I'm going to give Springtrap a 9.5 out of 10. I love all the animations. The power is simple and fun to use. The model and corpse look great, especially when you do that grab attack and see his mouth inside. It's so gnarly. The lobby and chase music sounds really cool. The map is awesome, and the MOLY is pretty brutal. The only .5 I'm really taking away from this is, admittedly, for the fire axe. I can't really shake the bit of disappointment I got from hearing that axe trap was a confirmed thing. And although I love how it's used and implemented, that still kind of brought it down for me a tiny bit. I think all in all, this is a fantastic chapter, and I feel super satisfied with the results.
I too am satisfied.
Yeah, is that so? Well, I'm also satisfied in knowing that my fear for animatronics has dwindled since we did all this, so I wanted to thank you, Bitbot.
There is only one thing to do to prove you aren't afraid.
What's that?
Come here and give me a big ol' hug.
Okay. No, you can do this. You can do this. There you go. Oh, this is actually quite nice, isn't it, Bip?
Was that the bite of